What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Pushing Purpose podcast with your girl and your host, Tiffany, aka TILAGO. Y'all, I'm feeling really good today. It's a Monday as I'm recording this. The sun is out. I've had a good work day. We're just doing well, okay? And so I've been really excited all day to record this episode. I got the topic today, and it shouldn't be a long episode, but y'all know me. I say that and then I'm just be talking. But it shouldn't be a long episode, but I am just wanting to dig right into it, honestly. I just want to go for it, okay? So today we are talking about the one habit that you have got to take on, the one habit you must adopt if you are going to live your life in and on purpose for real, okay? And so there's so many different habits, right? That y'all know me. I love personal development. I love self-development. I love spiritual. I love all the developments, right? And so in that, I know there's a lot of habits that we can take on to live a better life, to live our lives in a better way, more healthy way, right? And so I know we have all heard, and I have adopted all of those habits of like waking up early and eating better and working out and journaling, amen, and reading and all these things, right? And those are all really good habits to take on, and habits that you really do need to take on if you're going to live a more holistically healthy life. But there's this one habit that I believe sometimes we forget because I'm saying this because I have forgotten it over the past few weeks or so. But there's this one habit that we really have got to keep like front and center at the top of our minds, especially when we are thinking about living our lives in and on purpose. And that habit is prayer. You've got to develop a true habit of prayer, a prayer life, if you are going to live your life in and on purpose for real, okay? And I'm not saying that I have forgotten to pray over these past weeks, because that's not true. I have prayed every single day. I pray all the time. I pray about, my life. I pray about my family and my friends. I pray about the world. I pray about anything that comes to mind. But the thing I had not been really doing a good job at is praying intentionally about my purpose. Like actually sitting down and saying, okay, here is my purpose. Like I used to do, y'all. I have done this. Yes, we've done it plenty of times before, but somehow recently I just have been neglecting it. And so I was like, you know what? I needed the reminder today. So whenever I need a reminder, I know you need a reminder. So what? That didn't even come out right. Whenever I need a reminder, I know that you probably need a reminder too. And so I am reminding all of us that we have got to remember to be praying all the time intentionally about our purpose if we're going to live in and on purpose, right? And why is it so important though? As we have spoken a lot about on the podcast, if you are a follower of Jesus and you are living here on this earth, then you absolutely I believe that we were created by God, right? And so if God created us, then he is the one who knows all about us. Therefore, he knows all about the purpose that he created us for. Therefore, he knows all about our purpose. And so if he knows all these things, then why would we not want to spend time communicating with him, talking with him, asking him questions and getting more insight into who we are and what the purpose is that he has for our lives? It's in prayer. It's in those times that you sit with him that you get more insight. Yes, you get more wisdom, you get more knowledge, and you get an understanding of like what steps are you supposed to be taking in order to actually like bring this life of purpose to fruition and make it a reality for you, right? And so why would you not want to spend time with the one who knows it all, right, about your purpose in order for you to learn more about your purpose, rather than just like being out here all willy-nilly, like trying to figure out, who's the next smartest person in the field that you feel like you're called to, or the space you feel like you're called to, and then going to them or like going to things that they've created. No, we're going to go straight to the source, straight to the manufacturer, straight to the one who created us, and straight to the one who knows everything about us, right? And so you have got to be praying. It is so vital. It is so important. And it's not hard. Like, I know sometimes we can make it really complicated and complex, but prayer, y'all, is just communicating with God. That is talking to him, that is communicating however, how we communicate with people, right? So sometimes we communicate with people through just body language or through unspoken things, but it's however you need to do it. You want to be communicating with God intentionally about your purpose in order to live your purpose out. So, okay, I want to dig a little deeper. Y'all know me. We start high level and then we keep digging. We take not a chisel, because we could take a chisel. But I want to dig down, not like through rocks. So what tool? A shovel. We're going to take. Whoa, where are we going today? Okay, we're going to use a shovel, as we always do, to dig a little bit deeper into this, right? So, okay, if the one habit is that we need to be praying, then what should we be praying about? Like, how do you actually pray for your purpose or about your purpose, right? And I think there's a few things that we really need to be praying for if we are actually intentionally praying for our purpose, or when we are praying for our purpose, right? And so the first thing is something that we just talked about on the last episode, and that is you need to be praying about your identity. You need to be praying about your identity. No matter how long you've been on this earth, no matter how old or young you are, no matter how well you think you know yourself, there's always more that you can learn about yourself from the one who created you. And so in order to live out our purpose, we have to know ourselves. You have got to know who you are in order to know what you are supposed to be doing or how you are supposed to be living your life, right? And so you want to be asking God, like, okay, God, who am I? Remind me of who I am. Even if I feel like I know who I am, remind me of who I am. Like, help me to find even scriptures that would show me more of who I am. Like, just can you give me more insight into who I am in this season right now, into who I am and who I'm becoming and who I'm supposed to become? Can you give me more insight into that? Because I don't want to be walking around being a person who I'm actually not supposed to be, trying to live out the purpose that I've been called to live out, right? Like, that doesn't work. That's very much out of alignment. And so in order to be in alignment, you want to know who you are. We already know whose we are, right? We know who God is, and you can always learn more about who God is, right? You can always be asking him more about who he is. And that can even inform you about who you are, right? But you always want to be asking God about your identity. I think about people in the Bible. I think about Moses, right? Who was like, God is asking him to do something. It's asking him, hey, I need you to go set my people free. And Moses is like, bruh, do you know me? Like, I can't speak. I don't speak well, right? And so Moses has this misinformed notion about himself that God is like, okay, now I got to come and show you exactly who you are. And so God keeps reminding him, like, I know who you are, but I still called you to this. That flaw that you feel like you have doesn't even matter, because I know that I've called you to do this. I know who you are. I know what I put inside of you. I know the potential that you have, right? And so I'm using Moses because he was trying to give God these excuses about who he was, about his limitations, and right? And we do that all the time, where we're like, God, I know you called me to do this, but I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't know how to do this. I don't have the skill for this. And God is like, well, I'm the one who created you. I know you better than you have ever and will ever know yourself. Therefore, I know the things that I have called you to do and that you are capable of doing them. And so we've got to lean into praying about our identity and asking God to just give us more insight, because there might be those seasons where you just do not understand yourself, right? And God is like, I'm trying to give you understanding. I'm trying to show you more of who you are. And then you become like Moses, where he's like, okay, I still don't maybe fully understand why you calling me to do this, but I'm gonna go do it because you said that I can do it. And so I believe you, right? And so we've got to trust what he tells us about ourselves, even in the seasons where we maybe cannot see it, but we have got to be praying about our identity. The second thing that you need to be praying for, if you are going to be living your life in and on purpose, and if you are going to be praying about your purpose, is vision. We want to be making sure that we are praying and asking God to give us more vision, give us more of a visual, a picture, God, of what it really looks like for me to live out my life the way that you've called me to live out this purpose. Because if I have a picture, at least, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense, even if I can't figure out how all the pieces of that picture are supposed to go together, if God gives us a vision, it gives us more fuel, right? It gives us a little bit more direction, and it gives us a little bit more of an understanding of which way we are supposed to go, right? Because we're like, okay, if I'm standing here, or I'm here in this, on this map, right? I'm on the map and I'm right here, and this is the picture I'm seeing, but God has called me to have a life that looks like that picture. Then, okay, what pieces from this picture do I need to be taking and picking up and developing and, evolving with in order to get to that picture? Vision absolutely helps you with direction and with living out your purpose. Without a vision, it's real hard to live your life on purpose. Without vision, it's hard to live your life period, in any way, right? But if you are going to be living your life in and on purpose, then you really want to have a vision of where you are headed, right? And so I think about, now this one's going to be a little bit more abstract, but I think about Abraham in this moment. And y'all, I'm just bringing up my guys from my people, because I might bring up a woman from the Bible, because I'm just thinking about like how these people really ended up like living out their purpose. And it's really connected to these moments where they spent time with God, or God communicated with them. And this is how they were able to live their lives in and on purpose, right? And so anyway, I think about Abraham, and I think about God. Our first time seeing Abraham or meeting Abraham in the Bible, God is telling him, hey, I need you to get up, get your stuff, get your people, and you need to go to the land that I will tell you, right? Now, he doesn't say the land is going to look like this, it's going to feel like this, it's going to have this, it's going to, none of that. Even without him having an understanding of exactly where the land was or how it was supposed to look or any of that, Abraham said, okay, well, I've got vision that God told me he's going to show me the land. And so all I've got to do is keep going to different lands, and then God's going to reveal like which land I'm supposed to be in, right? And I think that's how we have to live as well. It's like he's telling us, he's giving us some insight. God will give you insight, some level of clarity for what your purpose is and how you're supposed to be living it out. And then you just need to be like taking steps, like trying things. And then, oh man, I'm trying to think of this quote, and it's definitely a Martin Luther King quote. But it talks about how like, oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher the quote, but it talks about how you are supposed to just take a step without seeing the whole staircase or something like that. And I think that's the same way we have to live our lives in purpose with this vision thing, right? Is like you pray and ask God, hey, can you just give me the next step I'm supposed to take? I don't have to see the whole staircase. You don't have to tell me how far down we got to go or how far up we got to go. Just let me know that like the next step is where it is, right? And I think that's how Abraham was, right? It's like, okay, let me just take steps into new lands, different lands. Let me just walk this way and he's going to show me, right? I just think about that as being so interesting, because really we don't hear Abraham, or we don't read about Abraham having a compass, about him having nothing leading him. He was just walking, right? Like, and so we can pray about our vision as we are living in and on purpose, right? We can ask God to give us clarity, and he will give you the exact level of clarity that he believes that you can handle in order to keep moving forward and living your life in and on purpose. But if you're going to be praying about your purpose, you absolutely want to be praying about vision and asking God to open your eyes, open your mind, open your heart to see more of your vision, more of the vision that he's giving you and that he's called you to see and to create and to live out. The third thing that you need to be praying about, if you are going to be praying intentionally about your purpose, is to pray for courage. You are going to need courage and boldness in order to live out your purpose. Y'all, our purpose is always, the purpose that God has given us is always bigger than us. Therefore, we are absolutely going to need some courage, some strength, some boldness to live it out. Because if it didn't require those things, right? If it wasn't bigger than us, then it would just require us to be in our comfort zone. So we wouldn't need courage, because it'd just be like, oh, we're comfortable doing this. This is normal for us. This is easy, right? But because our purpose is always bigger than us, because it's so connected to so many things, then we have got to be praying for courage. We've got to be praying for boldness, right? So for this one, we can absolutely be thinking about those same two people that I just said, Moses and Abraham, right? They had to have a level of courage, a level of boldness within them that God had given them to go and do the things that God was calling them to do, to leave everything that you have known, Abraham, and to go to a land that you do not know anything about. Courage. You need courage for that. To go to the Pharaoh and say, hey, my God said that we need to let these people go. You need courage for that, Moses. Okay. And so if we really look at some of these big pioneers of our faith, or we just look at some of these people in the Bible who are really living out their purpose, who God had called and equipped to live out these big purposes, then we also see people who, yes, were fearful. People who, yes, had moments of doubt, who, yes, had moments of confusion, but who were filled with courage and boldness and continued to take steps of faith. You have got to take steps of faith because we do not know the outcome. We don't know what each of our steps of faith is going to lead us to, but we do know the God who is telling us to take them, and the God who sustains us, and the God who created us and created the purpose that we are living for, right? And so therefore, if we can trust him, if we know him and we trust him, then we can take these steps of bold and courageous faith, right? But you are going to need to be praying, because there is always going to be something that is coming against you, because the enemy knows just how big and impactful you are whenever you are really living out your purpose, right? He knows that you're coming against his kingdom. And so he's going to do everything he can to get you off track and to get you distracted and to get you fearful, right? And so he's going to be sending all these things that will fill you with fear and fill you with confusion and fill you with doubt. But you have got to be somebody who stands on business, all right? Who stands on faith, who stands on that courage that God has given you. And in order to continue to keep getting fueled and filled with this courage, you want to keep praying. You want to keep asking God to fill you with it daily in order to live out your purpose. And y'all, in every new level of purpose, you're always going to need more courage, right? There's never this moment that you're going to get to where you're like, okay, I think I got enough courage now. I think God has filled me with enough courage. We good. No, every new level, every new season is going to reveal something else that either the enemy is trying to bring against you, or that's just bigger than you, that you look at and you're like, oh, I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one, right? Like, okay, I said we could talk about all the other people, but now who comes to mind is Joshua and Caleb, right? Right? So they get out here and they've gone to spy out the land, the new land that the Israelites are coming to. And when they come back, all the spies come back. And out of all of them, they are the only two who were like, oh yeah, like that land is ours. We can take it. The people who are in there, yeah, they big, but we can do this. This is our land, right? But everybody else who went with them was fearful, was like, oh nah, my perspective is that those people who was in there can get us. But the perspective that Caleb and Joshua had was, oh nah, I know who God is. I know who he's created us to be. And I know that he's created us to have that land. That land is that's ours. And so when I know that, when I trust that, right? Because how we think about it, how we need to think about it is, and have this perspective of, if this is the purpose that God has given me to live out, if these are the people that he's called me to impact, there is nothing that can stand against his word. There is nothing that can stand against his word. So there's nothing that can stand against me in this moment. So all I've got to do is stand up in courage, stand up in boldness, and take these steps of faith. And so again, in order to be praying intentionally about your purpose, that third thing you really want to be praying for is courage. All right. Now, the last thing that you want to be praying for when you are intentionally praying for purpose is to pray for support. You want to pray for support, because like we just said, your purpose is always going to be bigger than you. Therefore, it's going to require more than you, right? So yes, it's absolutely going to require God's strength and everything you need from him. And in that, it's probably going to require more people, right? God wants us to do life together in unity with others. And so there are other people that you are going to need. You're going to need people who are also living out their purpose to help you in living out your purpose. That could be y'all are actually simultaneously working on the same exact thing project wise, or that can mean they're working on their thing and you're working on your thing. But the way that y'all collaborate helps both of y'all to keep going in purpose and to go further. But you've got to pray for those people to come to you, and you've got to pray that you would have open eyes and an open mind and an open heart to see those people and to receive those people. And you got to pray that you would have a mind and a heart that would not be prideful, okay? So that you could ask for help, so that you ask those people to collaborate with you, ask those people to come into connection with you as you are living out your purpose. And now, y'all, I think about, listen, let's just think about the whole Bible, right? But we can sit where we've been right now. I think about when Moses was still so fearful and still giving God every excuse in the book of like, I ain't the one. I can't do this. You got to get somebody else. It can't be me, right? And God is like, you know what? This is bigger than you, Moses. I'm going to show you grace. I'm going to show you some grace. So here is Aaron. Take Aaron with you, okay? Because you're going to need him the whole entire way, right? And so and I'm not saying that Moses prayed for this, but I'm saying that we need to be praying for it and need to be understanding and realizing that we cannot do this by ourselves. Sometimes we get really overwhelmed in our purpose because we're like, there's just too many moving pieces. God, this requires too much. I don't know how to do this. I don't have the skills or the talents or I don't know how to do this. And God is like, yeah, but I have sent people who do know how to do these things, who are ready and willing to help you, right? And so you've got to pray for support. Then there are people, y'all, in terms of support, where they may not actually be helping you like in terms of like doing stuff, like they have a skill and a gift and a talent that's going to help you with your purpose, but they are the people who are also going to be praying for you. They're the ones who are going to be standing in your corner, just rooting for you and cheering you on, and being those who can be the ones to lift you up on those days which you just don't have it, right? Who are like, no, you got to keep going. You got to keep pursuing this thing. Even on those days where you're like, y'all, I just don't have it. I just don't know. I cannot do this anymore. And they're the ones who are like, listen, I may not be able to do what you're doing. I may not be called to do what you're doing, but I am absolutely called to be here for you, to be in your corner, to stand in the gap for you and pray for you and to support you and lift you up. And so you want to pray for all that support to come around you and for you to recognize all that support, because again, you are not here created to do life alone. Therefore, you were not created to live out this purpose by yourself. And so if you're going to be praying intentionally about your purpose, you need to be praying for support. Okay, y'all. Those are just the 4 like main things I would say that you need to be praying about or for whenever you are praying intentionally for your purpose. And all these things, right, coupled together are helping us to live out that one big habit that we have got to take on if we're going to live our lives in and on purpose. And that is to really be leaning into prayer, praying for our purpose. And so today's pit stop journaling prompt moment of the week, again, for those who do not know, this is a moment where, number one, we believe that purpose is a journey. And so I believe that we have got to take moments to just stop and reflect and think back on the things that are happening, the things that we are experiencing in purpose, so that we can be fueled up and ready to go into the next step of our purpose. And so we take pit stop journaling prompt moments to where you take something from this episode and you go and you actually, journal about it. You write about it, you process through it, and you take that moment to reflect. And so today's pit stop journaling prompt moment of the week is I just want you to ask yourself, have I been praying for my purpose? That's the journal prompt. Have I been praying for my purpose? And then if you answer a yes, then just say, how has that been going? What fruit have I seen from that? How have I seen that to help me? Right? That's if you're a yes. And then if you're a no, you haven't been praying for it. How can you start now? And that's it. Let that prompt take you where it wants to take you, and go and journal about this, right? So I'm so thankful again that you guys are here as always. If you're watching me here on YouTube, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this in real time, like real lifetime, we are really, really close to 500 subscribers, which is wild to me, even though I was on YouTube years ago. And so some of those subscribers are from then, but we're so close to 500, which means we're so close to almost monetization. Okay. Because that's a part of my purpose, is trying to get monetized here on YouTube. I'm not going to lie. I feel like God has called me here. So why would he not call me here to have the abundance here? And so if you have not subscribed, but you are watching me, subscribe right now. Okay. Just hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. Okay. My love don't cost a thing. But anyway, okay. Just hit subscribe. Make sure you like this episode and comment if there's something that you got out of the episode that you want to share here and now. And then if you're listening to me on a streaming platform, then absolutely rate and review this podcast. We like 5s up in here, 5 stars. Okay. And then absolutely answer the question if there's one on the streaming platform that you are on. And for both of you, all of you, everybody, share this episode with anyone who you feel may need to hear it. Like I said, I needed the reminder to get back to praying intentionally about my purpose. And so maybe you do too. And now this is something I'm doing for myself in these coming days or whatever. And this is not I'm bringing this to the end of the episode because it's something that I was thinking about, but I'm gonna go ahead and share it. It's like, I'm really going to take some time to I'm off of social media right now, and I am actually taking the time to pray about my purpose, to pray about all kinds of things. But that is one of the main focuses of this time while I'm off of social media for right now, is to just pray about that and to really focus and hone in and try to hear God even more clearly, right? And so, I just wanted to share that in case somebody else wants to do it too, or wants to hear how I am actually incorporating this into my life again and trying to jumpstart this thing again. So anyway, I'm so happy that you guys are here once again. I will see you in the next one. So until you hear me or see me again, go push some purpose. See y'all.